Hello, welcome to Cube Puzzle Fun. This is a YouTube channel where I take these twisty puzzles, whether they happen to be in the shape of a cube or some other shape, and break it down into plain, simple language as best as I possibly can. Keep it a little slow, and always the solutions that we're looking for here are easiest to understand. This is not really a channel about the fastest and the flashy moves and all that. It's a channel about the easiest to understand, trying to increase your comprehension of the Rubik's Cube and other fun twisty puzzles. A while ago, I made the Belt Solve Challenge. As with anything, Rubik's Cube's been around for 40 years, so I'm sure I'm not the first person that ever thought of it, but I did stumble across it without just completely by accident on my own. And the way the Belt Solve Challenge was, there's no pre-inspection. You just pick up the cube, pick up a scrambled cube, and as fast as you possibly can, just shove four edges properly around the equator, around the middle. So if you have like a, say you're going to use red as your top, then white, green, yellow, and blue going around would be your belt line. And you just put in those four corners properly as fast as you possibly can. Here's the white, blue, so I would take that over to white, bring that over to blue. You just put in these four corners as fast as you can, and pretty much what that would do for you is it would give you two opportunities to do last layer. If you, whether you use beginner method or CFOP, the F2L, the first two layers at the same time, where you're solving two whole layers going around uh, rather than just first layer or second layer. Either way, you still have a last layer to do, and when you do the belt solve challenge and get a belt going around, that gives you two opportunities to practice the top layer, because you have you can do last layer on top and do last layer on the bottom. That was kind of the appeal to me when I discovered it. So I am going to get these other three edges in here right quick. Bring that over there and bring white, green. Doesn't matter how fast you can get these four, just as long as you are doing it as whatever is the fastest of your ability. So now I have a belt going all the way around. And to tell you the honest truth, when I first discovered this belt solve challenge just from fiddling around with it, I used to cheat a little bit. Honestly, I did. There are 12 edges on a Rubik's Cube. And when you put these four edges in properly so that you have an equator going around, then there will be whatever side's on top and whatever the opposite color to that is. And there will be four edges that have that top color in it and four edges that have that bottom color in it. And me, I used to cheat a little bit and try to make sure that I got the right four edges on each side of the belt while I was constructing the belt. You're not supposed to do that, but I used to do that anyway, mainly because I am good at juggling corners all around and across the equator, but I am not so good, or I used to not be so good at juggling the edges over to the other side of the belt. But now, from doing some of these bigger cubes, 4x4s and 5x5s and stuff, I have discovered that getting the edges over to the other side of the equator, not so tough. And that is also, that reminds me, that's the main issue, the main challenge of the belt solve challenge. You're supposed to only use sequences of moves. Sequences of moves that you know, and that you know well enough to know that when you are done with that sequence of moves, that you will have the belt intact again. So you can do moves that will disrupt this belt for a minute, but only if you are going to be doing a whole sequence of moves that when you are completed, that you are positive that the belt will be back intact. So that's the wrinkle. And I used to not really have good moves for getting, like over here, this is the red side on top, and I have a red edge, and an orange edge, and an orange edge. And I didn't really know how do you swap these orange edges with the two red edges that are down here and not disrupt the belt. How do you make sure that the belt will be back intact when you're done doing that? Come to find out, pretty easy. Not anything too difficult to sweat. And so in this video, I am going to show you how to do that and do the corner juggling, all of it, so that you will know how to complete this belt solve challenge if you're having any trouble with it. It's kind of like an addendum to the belt solve challenge. All right, here is an orange edge, and it is up here with the reds. So I don't need that. I need to send this orange over to the other side of the belt and pick up a red instead. So there's an orange up here, and there's an orange down here. That's good. That's what I want. Orange and orange. I'm going to flip the belt upside down and then rotate around until I get a red instead of an orange, and then bring that red back up to the upside by flipping that belt again. Now that belt is back intact. That is a key constraint of doing the belt solve challenge. And now I have 3 reds up top and only 1 orange left to get over there. So all I need to do, I got orange down here, orange up here. Good. I'm going to flip this orange down to the bottom and then keep swinging around until I end up with a red. Here is that red. And then I just flip it right back up to the top. Presto. I have the belt still intact. I have 4 reds up top, and I have 4 oranges down in the bottom. Now, when you are doing last layer, you may know, you may not know, but if you don't know, I'm going to tell you, that the only conditions that you can have are 0 orange edges with the orange facing up. I mean, all 4 of these edges are going to be orange now that we fixed it. But 0 of them can have the orange facing up, or 2 of them can have the orange facing up, or all 4 of them can have the orange facing up, but you can never have just 3 of them with the orange facing up. But now that we're doing this crazy belt solve challenge, you can have 3 of them facing up if you have 3 of them facing up over on the other side. So I am going to align these two, the misbehaving one on this side and the misbehaving one on this side. And this is going to be somewhat easy to solve. I'm going to swap these two back for each other so that the red goes back up on the orange side and the orange goes back up on the so that they're swapped again. This is definitely not the most efficient way to do it. This is definitely not the fastest, fewest moves, any of that kind of stuff. I am doing this because I think it's the easiest to understand. So I am going to take this red over here, and I'm going to swap the red back out for the orange. Okay. Now I have the misbehaving red over here and the misbehaving orange over here, and all I'm going to do is move this orange over to the right or to the left, doesn't matter, over to a protected area, bring this middle elevator down and pick up that orange and then swing it back up. Now we have all 4 oranges with the orange facing up, but check out the other side. 2, but 2 is fine. If you know how to do last layer, then you know how to deal with that. If you don't, you'll have to check out other videos on this channel, because I don't really have time to get into all of the different sequences of moves. But yeah, you can fix that and get so that the reds with the reds facing up, the oranges with the orange facing up. Here's one thing about this channel. I pride myself on explaining and thoroughly explaining, and even if I have to, over explaining. But then there are videos like this one where I just need to be able to refer you. I'm about to use a move that on this channel I call the scenic route, and I'm just going to do it and refer you to a video on the scenic route if you don't know how to do it. But it's tough to know whether I'm over explaining or under explaining. Having done a couple of scenic route on the top and a scenic route on the bottom, now we have belts in all 3 dimensions. We have all of the edges on this whole cube. All 12 of the edges are placed properly. So basically this has come down to the corner last method, which is a fun challenge on a Rubik's Cube. You solve all the edges first and then solve all the corners last. That is possible if you never knew. You can move all of the corners all around the cube from place to place, even across the belts, and you can orient all of the corners after they are in the right place. And I'm going to do some of that now. Just as with the edges, where there were 4 edges that have red on them above the belt, and 4 edges that had orange on them below the belt. The same is true of the corners. There are 4 corners that have red on them and 4 corners that have orange on them. So we need to move those red corners over to the other side of the belt. We need to move 3 red corners over to the other side of the belt, which will then automatically displace the 3 oranges over to the other side of the belt also. When we move corners here on the Cube Puzzle Fun, we like to do something that's called corner juggling. Corner juggling, you leave one corner in the safe space, and then you do a sequence of moves that moves these 3 edges, these 3 corners, around clockwise. So this one goes to here, this one goes to here, and this one goes all the way to here in a sort of triangular fashion there. And there's more. You can get a lot fancier with corner juggling. It's good to like learn it forwards and backwards, so that if you know it backwards, then you can counterclockwise them. And I mean, eventually you can take it to all kinds of places. You can get it to the point where you can do it in all 3 dimensions and be doing it on the back of the cube. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but if you know corner juggling and know it forwards, then you can move these 3 in a clockwise fashion. If you know it backwards, then you can move them in a counterclockwise fashion. But if you know it just forwards, then all you had to do is move them once and then move them twice, and that's the same thing as moving them once in a counterclockwise. If you just move them twice, trust me, that works out. If you work it out, you will see that it's the exact same thing. If you corner juggle once and then corner juggle twice, it's the same thing as just having corner juggled backwards once. Anyway, all of that is a lot of explanation just to say that I am going to speed up the tape and do that corner juggling, and I am going to push some of these red corners over to the other side, and every time after I'm done corner juggling, I will again have the belt still intact. Alright, now I've done the corner juggling. I just pushed the reds over to the other side of the belt. Belt is still intact, and now we have 4 red corners up top. We did not even mess up any of our edges. Our edges are still perfectly fine. And we have four edges, four corners of the orange down on the orange side, on the orange hemisphere down here. And now we just need to push these corners around until each one is in the actual correct place. This one I'm seeing yellow, green, red is already in the correct place. It just needs to be flipped around. But the other three, no dice. So this would be a great example to just show you what it looks like. Don't worry if you're not there yet, but this is what corner juggling looks like if I just do it backwards, because I would need to do it twice in order to get all these three corners where they need to be, but I only have to do it once backwards if I just want to only do it once instead of twice. So there we go. All of these red corners are in the right place. And over on the other side, we do not have any of these orange corners in the correct place. All 8 corners on all sides of the cube are all in the correct place. And now we can just do double scenic routes to just fix all our headlights, and this cube will become solved. So let me get these red headlights up to the top. There's a video that you can watch if you are mystified by what I'm about to do with the double headlights. But there we go. Now we have 2 corners solved. Let's look for any other headlights. Let's try these ones. Headlights. Now we have one side of the cube solved, and we're just looking at this side left to solve. I'm going to push this one up top, which will give me headlights over on the other side. And here are those headlights, and I can just pop those up and we will be done. So without expecting to, I have learned a whole lot more from the belt solve challenge than I ever thought I would. I thought it was just a fun little distraction or diversion, but it has actually taught me a lot of unexpected knowledge about 3x3 cubing, and I believe that depending on where you are with cubing, it could conceivably help you also. So that's the 3x3 belt solve challenge. You have yourself 2 last layers that you can practice on. 2 is better than 1. Thank you. My rap name is Alex. This is Cube Puzzle Fun. Hope you enjoyed this, and please do watch some other Cube Puzzle Fun videos, and I'll see you next time.